someone saying that I want to work for FAANG and having that aptitude to say, I will do whatever I can, meaning I will work my tail off to get there. It's not the same pace. I would love if you can give us a brief introductions of who you are.
While I was, going through the coaching, my baby was 2 years old, and I can say that is really a challenging moment for me. But with the support coach that I got from Holly, I was able to, push through.
What was your situation before? What was some of the interview prepped or prep that you've done on your own, and how did that work out for you before going from zero to getting ready to join Microsoft?
So I can say that one of my goals for 2020 was to change my role and was to change my job, was to change my company, was to change, just having a desire to be more, to have more, to, earn more. And one of my goals was to get a job at FAANG. And I was telling Holly that I'm a technical program manager. I can do this, I can do API, I can do all those things, and was like, what do you do? And I was really struggling finding this my career statement, like in 1 minute or in less than 1 minute, tell me what you do. And I was everywhere. I was just like, I do this, I do this. Like, no, that was what really made me like, okay, I think I need a coach. I need somebody to really help me tailor my message or what I do, right? Really targeting it to the right role. So, and immediately she was like, this thing you did, she has gone through my LinkedIn and everything. We're like, you are a program manager.
I don't mean to say this the wrong way. It is hard because as a business owner, not every single one of your clients are going to be successful. I'm just going to be very honest with you guys. Just like you go and to your favorite restaurant, right? There are going to be time that you're not going to like some part of your meals. So business owner, career coaches is all the same thing. For me specifically, my passion is I miss being a mentor. I miss being a coach. But being able to take someone's background and say, I'm sorry, wait a minute. Why are you confused? Because I'm not confused. I'm seeing it very, very clearly. And working with customers like you and many, many, many other VIP former member had taught me, not because I was in recruiting for 20 years, it's because of you guys. This is the honest truth. Because not everyone that came from, I don't know, recruiting or even director level or CEO of a company, of even Amazon, for example, can be great coaches, but it has to do with going through experiences, not one experiences, but a diverse experiences of background, walk of life, your industry. But for you, I could work with anyone who has the background and I know exactly how to tweak into helping them deliver their message. And I think that is the number one challenge in every single person in the community was delivering their message. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It is that. And sometimes when I have conversation with a lot of senior level or executive leaders, they think that I'm crazy. I'm going to ask you this. It may be uncomfortable, Molola. Were you skeptical?
So I wasn't really skeptical to work with you. I've been following you. I've been using some of your materials, right? So after my fourth attempt at Amazon and I failed the interview, I was just like, let me give it a shot. Like, let me just go into your VIP.
You are so smart, Molola. You are so, so damn smart. Look at this girl. Like for me, you're someone who's so professional, who shows up very well, even if we're meeting for the first time. And I told you this for the first time we met anyway, same thing, right? Where I was so floored. Have you been able to really drag out with a lot more depth in every single thing that you have done in your background and able to deliver it in the content at an Amazon standard? You would have had all of the offer. When I say Amazon standard, I meant being able to be so concise to the point and having a flow of storytelling. That's really it, everybody. Top secret for you guys, okay? And it's free. I'm giving it to you right now. Right now. You can get a job for free. You don't even need to work with me or work with anyone at all. You need to be able to not memorize every single thing you've done, but recall a lot of the ROI, return on investment or business impact, added value. You have to do that once you have everything down. It will help you create better story. How did you prep before? And when you say you fell multiple times, 4 times, Was it all in the same program management area?
No, it wasn't. So that was when I said I was everywhere. I was trying different role, like a technical account manager, a technical program manager, and operations, something, different roles that the recruiter may think that I'm a fit for. Drilling down to the story wasn't easy. That was the most challenging part for me. And it took me almost 2 weeks, even if not much more. And or before I could say, try to remember the story or my experience that really had impact, really constructing it, using Holly's template. It really took me, let me just say, like a month for me to sit down to craft it out first, and much more, then begin to now fine tune it. I'm delivering it below 1 minute. That is another story entirely. So it's not an easy thing for me. I couldn't remember so many of my experiences, even though I have a resume, but really coming up with stories that's going to align to my targeted role.
Thank you for sharing all of that. Molola, I don't know if you noticed, but not a lot of people are comfortable writing endorsement. Absolutely. It's more like 1 out of 1,000 people who would say, Holly, yes, I want to inspire other people. Yeah, I'll come to your YouTube channel and do an interview with you. So thank you. Thank you very much for doing this. If you have watched every single one of my YouTube channel, you can create your story in 1 week to be perfect. If you have not in the VIP coaching, it takes an average anywhere between 2 weeks to 1 month because a lot of people, I would say 99% of all of you guys, yes, 99% that says, I don't know if working with you is worth it. I'm sorry, you want me to give an Amazon answer, but I'm interviewing at Google. Why do I want it to? But you're all Amazon. I'm like, hang on, time. Let's time for a second. First of all, I don't even teach you Amazon leadership principle. That's in full disclosure, guys. If you look at the meat of everything that I am teaching you, let's just put it this way. Malola mentioned she's failed 4 times. I bet you anything. Were you trying to create story around the 16 LP?
Yes, I was
That's
trying
why.
to do.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. My apologies. I know a lot of coaches are going to hate me for this. If you create your story, 2 to 3 story around the LP, absolutely, you're going to get a job at Amazon. But here's the catch. You do the math. Someone, please give me a math in the live chat. Give me 2 example. 2 times 16. What is that? Now go 3 times 16. You're going to spend 6 months in prepping for an Amazon interview. Okay. One, you are going to teach yourself what the LP is. Okay. And remember them. Two, tying your story around it's going to take you forever, which is why rather than focus on the LP, I focus on the core value because if your story is good, like Malola's, you will hit the LP 100% of the time for Amazon, for Google, and hell yeah, for Microsoft. Okay, so that is the thing. The process is very, very different, but you need to also trigger your mind to remember the important things that you do. I talk a lot about the 60-second elevator page or 30-second actually. Talking about applying to job, did you apply to a job at Microsoft?
I started your VIP and you were like, stop applying. Don't apply anymore. Focus on your story, get good at your story, and all those things. And I didn't apply. I went through the process and I did the first interview and the second, and eventually I bumped it. Like I didn't get it. So then I now got serious, like, okay, let me listen to what Holly was saying. So I didn't really apply, but somebody got contact me from LinkedIn. I was like, I saw your profile. There is this role. Do you want to, apply? And I was like, okay, yes.
What is a program manager definition to you?
Okay, so for program manager, you are in charge of delivering and really driving projects end to end, right? And you have multiple projects in your portfolio. So, and for most recently, that right now, most company now moved into using agile methodology. And under agile methodology, you can use different framework like Scrum, like Safe, Kanban, and all the rest. So as a technical program manager, then you are in charge of these projects, mostly software projects, and integrating the APIs, and all others like system design and architecturing as a program manager driving this project. So that is what I can say the simple definition for it. So a technical program manager knows more about the technicality, the architecturing, the integration, API, while the program manager just use the framework, right? Like Scrum, Kanban to really drive the project from beginning to launch.
Between a PM and TPM, one is technical and one is non-technical, But even for a PM role, if you're interviewing for a company like Google, for example, at Google, you have to be extremely technical as a program manager, meaning that they are going to ask you system design. So the PM, the technical bar, is the same thing as a TPM everywhere else. But rather than take up this time to talk about the difference, go take a look at my PM versus TPM for Google and Amazon battle, where I was hanging out with my good friend, TPM for both of those company for many, many years, Shelly, from Shelly Saves Today. So go look at that. I have two video, very short, to talk about those two, and the scope are completely different. When it comes to hiring bar, this one is really hard for me. I know someone's going to ask, so I'm going to give it to you guys. When it comes to hiring bar, I feel that when it comes to asking hypothetical questions, Google is the hardest company to get in because, man, the question that they ask you, for example, why is the beef dead? That's why is the highest bar at Google, is those hypothetical questions like, how many windows are there in Seattle? I don't know, Mr. Interviewer. Are we talking about commercial, vehicle, homes? What kind of window we talk? You see what I'm saying? It's kind of like asking, what color is a cloud today? Right? I'm sorry. I know that a lot of companies are still doing that. Microsoft used to do that, so they've toned down a little bit. Like, why is the manhole round? So those type of questions when it comes to that. But once you get a job, I feel like when it comes to your scope and your scale, Amazon, it's a little bit higher as far as deep. I compare companies like Google, Microsoft, Facebook, FAANG to FAANG, right? You have to have very strong breath. Breath meaning what Molola just said. You have to have the scope, you have to have the deliverables. You still have to be able to communicate within a minute or so to get it, because you have to put yourself in an interviewer's perspective. No one's got time, and everyone's attention span, it is 8-point-second. What was it like from the beginning until the end at Amazon? What did you learn from your experience?
I really have a unique experience for each of these different roles. So, but I can say that it's really a grueling process. You have to know what you want, and as well as make up your mind that you want to get this done, because the full loop is no joke. Like back to back is no joke. So, and the expectation is so high. The bar, is very high as well. But I can say that it's like I had two phone interview, then to the full loop, right? And the full loop is like about 6 hours or thereabout with five different interviewers.
What is the difference between that and your Microsoft experiences? Can we talk a little bit about the whole process at Microsoft? Do you felt like the interview process is kind of similar to Amazon? What differentiate those two for you?
It's still the same. Like the recruiter contacts you, set up a hire manager's call. When okay with that, or when you pass that, then you go to the full loop, right? And Amazon, like few of the Amazon that I did, I had to do the interview twice, like phone interview, the second phone interview, first phone interview, then the full loop. So it's really about the same, right? But the style for really interviewing is different, with Microsoft, because Microsoft is kind of more of conversational than
Hmm.
really
Yep.
asking you question and answer, right? So it's so relaxed. So I can say that I had the best experience. Google was, something else, because I got into final loop for Google as well. And, it was so much. So I can say that, yes, for PM in Microsoft, no system design. It was more of your EQ, you're more of your experience, more of what I did and how I'm able to okay, really convey it confidently. So they want to see the growth mindset. They want to see your confidence.
Thank you for sharing that. I do agree with you, though. I don't feel that the interviewed at Microsoft is any easier than Amazon. I say that because I actually used to work for Microsoft. I never talk about this, and I don't put this on my LinkedIn profile. Microsoft was the one company, Molola, it was my dream company. I was hurt. I was butt hurt when I was laid off in 2008. Who here remember that laid off? Well, I'm much, much more older. That's why the gray hair is all over, okay? The 2008 recession is the worst of all time. Worse than the pandemic. You all think the pandemic is bad? At least right now, at the bare minimum, everything that works remote, everything remote. We're talking about e-commerce, like the infrastructure, cloud, all of that stuff is hot, right? Meaning all those tech companies are booming. But back in 2008, my God, it took 10 years. I remember I used to live in California at the time. It took the economy 10 years to bounce back. It was so hard. And if you're in the recruiting industry like I am, or even like PM, you just can't get a job anywhere. I was so hurt. I'm like, oh my God, I finally worked for Microsoft. And I remember I was leading a small team. I supported Windows and all of the SDET project there, and I loved it. I loved every single thing about Microsoft. Look at this face. There's nothing negative for me, at least my experience at the time. And that another reason why I work for Amazon and moved from California to Seattle is because I work for the same manager from Microsoft. I think the people, like you said, Malola, it's amazing. I know you're going to have a fabulous time. I do agree with you. It's very conversational. They actually care what you have to say. Sorry, Amazon, nothing against you. They care to know you, right? As far as your background, your requirement is one thing, but culture fit is two things. I talk a lot about culture, so on and so forth. I actually have the whole playlist to talk about culture, and I talk about other FAANG company as well. I love Microsoft because, man, it was so amazing. The process is the same thing, but the interview experience is completely different. For example, I have an interviewer who completely forgot about me, a boomerang. A boomerang meaning that you're an ex-Amazon, by the way. I left and I came back 5 years later to interview for recruiting leadership position because you could LinkedIn. I know how you guys work, right? There's always going to be people that you love and people that you don't love too much. But as far as like the culture, I love it. I thought Amazon was one of the best culture at the time. I love my time at Amazon too, but as far as people, I think Microsoft, if you guys watch any of my FAANG videos, if I compare all the FAANG with Microsoft, I think Microsoft is a happy medium, meaning if you compare Google and Amazon, I feel like Microsoft is in the middle. In the middle, meaning they have the bias for action, but they remember to be the humane part of thing, focusing on employee happiness because you do get really good perks, especially during the pandemic. I'll let you figure that out for yourself, except Amazon. I'm sorry. Okay, you guys are showing up for me to be authentic. I have to be authentic for you, all right? What are your best interview tips and strategy for PM? Let's talk about PM first for a second.
Most times we do a lot, and we get lost, or our story or our achievements, get lost in the midst of our deliverables. You want to really sit down. And some of the things that really help me as well is to really go back to like my mid-year and my end-year review. Look at some of the project that I did, right? I look at some of those performance goal, my achievement. I wrote them down. Like, yeah, I did this, I did this. So it really helped me to be able to craft my story. And as well as you want to really reflect on some of the experiences you had with your previous employer. So want to really drill it down, as Holly said, like what's the ROI, what's the impact? That's the first thing first that you want to do. Then the second thing that I would say, which will really make much more fit or make you a preferred candidate, is to have certification, Scrum and PMP, in that line. It will give you visibility as well while hiring managers and recruiters are searching on the LinkedIn, like those buzzword and all that really pop up, and you will always come as part of the search. So I can say that, and I can say as well, practicing your story. Even when you have your story written down, right, you want to record my story, I read it, I video myself, like sit down on in front of camera, make sure that I have like put my timer on and try to make it come below 1 minute, or 1 minute or less. So those are some of the things that I do, really practicing. And as well as networking, you want to like reach out to somebody. Like for example, I want to go to FANG, I want to go to Microsoft. I started reaching out to PMs, right, in that space. What do you think I can do? What are some of the
That's super
certification that will
smart.
help me? Yeah, what are some of the, even somewhere like Lola, you have to get your MBA. Or
Mhm.
like, yeah, I have to get my MBA, but I just want to get, but like, no, start researching right now and how to, really do like a part-time MBA, because it will give me more profile. It will help me with my strategy, with my deliverables as well. So those are some of the things that if you are looking at your long-term goal, like maybe your 2 year, your 3 year goal. So certification, MBA, practicing, crafting your story, networking, right? And it's not just networking, strategically networking, because Holly taught, in VIP, how you reach out to hire manager, how you do all those. You just
Don't
don't,
apply to jobs, right? Do not
yeah, we
apply to
don't.
job.
And I tell people, even in my own circle as well, like when you're ready to interview, just let's talk, let's have this conversation, because you have to do it strategically. You
Hmm.
don't want to be everywhere. Holly has so many tricks and so many hacks, like hacks and how to do that. So, that really works. It's just really expand my own perspective, expand my own wealth of, okay, what could go wrong? And that's what I was going to say. Really networking and strategically.
And when you guys network with professionals that has your background, the world is really not as big as you think. Okay. Yes, they do talk about you if you really stand out. When I say the word networking, by show of hand, who loves to network? Don't lie, because no one does, right? When I talk about like LinkedIn, everyone turns their back on me. Like literally, it is a lot of really good content and no one watches it, by the way. I think we have like 600 people who viewed, and that video was almost a year old. It's crazy, guys. That video alone is trying to tell you how you're gonna land job interviewed. Like so many professional, and I'm just gonna be real here, are so desperate that they just take interviews, apply for job, fail, apply, fail 16 times later. Guess what? Applied and fail. That's true, guys. Even in my VIP coaching, in average, they have failed 3 to 6 times. I repeat, in average, 3 to 6 times. I read through all of your messages every single day, and my team. I have to hire a team to do that too. And we both look at each other in my team meeting and we're like, Holly, everyone is asking you the same thing. They're not ready for their Amazon, their Google, their Facebook, their Microsoft interviewed, and everyone is not pushing back. But, when we ask, what can we do to help you? They seem a little bit lost, but I don't think they care that they will fail the job. They just wanted to have the experience of interviewing with FAANG, fail, and then interview with another thing, fail, rather than fixing it and bridging the gap. So I'm asking you guys right now, just stop. If what I'm saying sounds like you, we're here. These coaching right here is free for you. How should you dress for an interview? Look at Molola right now. That's interview ready. That is it. Okay. Thank you, girl. Have a fantastic
Thank
week. I will be in touch.